Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Here are the words of Mr. Sidney Smith, and when I found this, I thought, wow, this really is great. Listen to this. Whatever you like to do, keep to it. Never desert your line of talent. Be what God intended you for, and you will succeed. Amen. Right now on this Wednesday morning, I almost said Thursday, wishful thinking, here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a Patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance on a wet Wednesday morning. Good morning. And a good morning to you. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, on this Wednesday with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, serving you with the best of tires for safe driving. You stop in and see them today. And, of course, don't forget some of our great advertisers, like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Well, good morning, sir.
Go ahead, sir.
All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Wheels. Great job. And right now, let's go to the weather forecast. I think we're going to hear some changes in a minute, but K&R Rental is going to bring you the weather. And they're located at 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn, right there on the Burley-Paul Highway. Number to call, 678-3122. They have all the tools and equipment to finish any project. Not sure what you need? Call them and find out. Roger and the crew at K&R Rental. Here's Gina with the weather.
Definitely feels like winter is settling into the valley. Here's a look at your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are expecting a slight chance of snow showers, maybe rain showers for today, about a 20% chance, mostly cloudy skies, expecting a high of 43. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low of 30. Tomorrow, we do have a chance of snow showers in the morning. That's going to give way to rain showers by tomorrow afternoon. Mostly cloudy skies, expecting a high of 44. That's going to continue for tomorrow night. Accumulations of less than 1 inch possible, more snow up in the higher elevations, though. Expecting a low of 30. By Friday, 50% chance of snow showers in the forecast. High of 36. Mostly cloudy for Friday night, low of 20. And Saturday, still a 20% chance of snow showers in the mid-morning. Mostly cloudy skies, high of 36. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina, and brought to everybody by K&R Rental. Hello, Roger and the crew getting there early in the morning at 7 a.m. to serve you 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn on the Burley-Paul Highway. They've got all the tools and equipment you need. Absolutely. Find out more. 678-3122. K&R Rental. Good people. Wow, we've got a busy day here today. We've got Dave Bigo, we've got Rex Jones, we've got Dr. Gerard Lamero, we've got Day Egasquitha, we've got all kinds of things along with your phone calls. So give us a jingle at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. Quickly, I want to remind everybody about Ramsey Heating and Electric. They are the best best at what they do. They've proven that for over 6 decades. My goodness. Serving you and the public with all the heating and cooling and electrical needs at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. The number to call, 678-0459. They open the doors at 7:30, stay open till 5, Monday through Friday at the best. Ramsey Heating and Electric in Burley. You stop in and see them today. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Thank you.
Good morning. It's the Yummy Man for the menu for the Burley Senior Center on South Overland.
But you got out of bed early this morning.
Cornbread. Oh, we'll have some vegetables and yummy dessert.
Yummy dessert. Well, I'll tell you what, Joe, we wish you the very best over at the Senior Junction. And if they want a takeout meal, how much is it and how do they get it?
Just $5. You call any time, and they'll give you a meal up until 12 to 1 o'clock or have one ready for you.
All right, Joe Taylor, God bless you, man. Thank you, the Yummy Man. Thank you from the Senior Junction. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right now, we're going to take another call. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yes, good morning, Zeb.
Hello, Tony.
During football season, I think too many people are unconscious, and they don't realize that we've got a Trojan horse on our southern border. And then the northern border, we've got Trudeau bringing all these people in that aren't going to do any good for the continent here. Then along the east and the west coast, we've got these terrorist training camps, and my concern is that we can come under attack from all points of the compass.
Well, I will say this, and every time I say something, a lot of the left loons in the audience that live here in the southern part of Idaho, they always jump on me, but I'm going to say this. You should be worried. You should be concerned. You should be aware and wary because, yes, I agree with you. We are letting a problem spread in this country that's going to come back like a dog and bite us, and I'm very concerned. This situation on the border is somewhat of a smokescreen to draw attention to what's going on the border and forget and overlook a lot of the other problems that are going on at all points of the compass in this country.
Well, we're being attacked by George Soros and Trudeau. You know, what more can happen to us?
Well, Trudeau is a worthless wimp up in Canada, and he follows in the same vein as Macron, leader of France, and Merkel of Germany. I mean, they're all very limp-wristed and no backbone, but they are going to set a trend in the world, not just in their country, but for the world, to become more and more lax on what's happening to protect the citizens of their country.
Well, don't they fit? You know, history should tell them what's happened to the population in so many countries because of the government being destroyed and being taken over by the enemy.
Well, they don't care, Tony. The more devastation and chaos and the more unrest there is and incivility, the more the left loons are going to be appreciative of that because then they can step in and have complete control over the chaos that's going on in their country. You know, you and Mary mean a lot to me, and I wanted to wish you yesterday, you hung up a moment too soon. I want to wish you a very special Merry Christmas, and please, let's get together before Christmas and have a nice breakfast, lunch, and or dinner. God bless you. I got to run. Thank you.
Yes, we will. Okay, Zeb.
All right. Thank you. I want to remind you, speaking of great places to go eat, I've got to get this in, and I don't want to confuse anybody, so listen carefully, okay? Denny's Restaurant at 611 North Overland in Burley, America's Diner. Now, this week, tomorrow is our November lunch bunch at 11:30. Don't forget. And we also want to thank Walmart, Smith's Foods, Hanson Mortuary, Stokes Groceries, Doug Martin, Denny's, all of these folks for all their gift certificate donations. And we are going to have that tomorrow at 11:30. So be there, please, for lunch bunch. And then at Denny's Restaurant, in a couple of weeks, the old-fashioned Denny's Christmas on Thursday, December 13th. Christmas carols, prizes, Santa Claus, Loot in the Boot. Ashley Ludlow's going to be providing the music. All kinds of fun with great, great food at Denny's Restaurant. America's Diner, 611 North Overland in Burley. Caller, I'll be right there. I'm running a little bit behind here. Give me 30 seconds. I also want to remind everybody about Merry Christmas wishes. Got to do this right. Merry Christmas, everybody, from Searles at 120 North Center Street in Oakley. Gas, grub, and goodies. And oh, they've got those specialty buns, baked fresh every day. Delicious at Searles in Oakley. Wishing you a very Merry Christmas. Kelly's Bearings, 1407 East Main Street in Burley. Don't forget, 678-9398. Believe me, you'll know where you're at when you get your bearings at Kelly's, along with chains and brackets, etc. Kelly's Bearings. And last but not least, Dixon Oil at 602 South 2nd in Rupert. Don't forget all the gas, oil, propane. Daryl and the crew, they've been taking care of you for a long time over there at Dixon Oil, 602 South 2nd in Rupert. Wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Caller, thank you. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
You know, Hillary's at it again. She's up there in Canada with her old buddy Trudeau. And this is what she's putting out. This decision that President Trump made on Saudi Arabia. She's saying the reason why he did that is because he has the interest there, and so does his family.
Yeah.
Now, what the problem here is we know it's probably not true, but it's out there now. And what are we going to do with people like this that spout off, don't know what they're talking about, trying to destroy America?
Well, they did this in Toronto. Let's stop for a minute, Keith, and let's set the stage of what you're talking about and what really is going on. Now, yesterday was the first speaking tour of a 13-city Clinton tour with Bill and Hill, and they started up in Toronto. Now, listen to this. The 19,000-seat arena that they had basically employed, they tried to sell the tickets at $700 a ticket. I'm not kidding. $700 a ticket. And they ended up with not very many people coming in, and I have been told by experts that said they ended up selling tickets for like $6 and $7 to get 3,300 seats filled for this little confab with Bill and Hillary. The whole thing was set up to bash Donald Trump and this administration, and they've got 12 more to go, so we'll see what happens. Now, to direct an answer to what you just said, Keith, I don't care how vile, I don't care how stupid, or I don't care how lame their comments are. We have a First Amendment which allows them a First Amendment right to speech and freedom of speech, and I'm going to stand behind that so that I have the freedom of speech to also say Bill and Hillary are two of the worst unjailable felons that we've had in politics. There, I've said it, and I'm going to stand behind it.
Well, the only thing I've got to say is how many times has Trump been right and how many times has Hillary been absolutely wrong?
Oh, absolutely.
Both. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say you're absolutely right. But, you know, they have a right with freedom of speech to put their foot in their mouth. Well, they didn't put one in, they put both in.
Yeah, and it's getting a little crowded, isn't it? She's got a pretty big mouth.
Yes, it is. Hey, I hope you and Nancy are doing well. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Keith. Thanks.
We'll see you tomorrow.
I hope so, my friend. Thank you very, very much. We got a little bit of feedback on the line there, Wheels, just a touch, if you would, please. I'd appreciate you watching that. And calls are welcome at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to talk to you a little bit more about the border, and I saw something on one of the videos. I caught something that maybe you're not aware of, and I think I'm the only one to catch this. And I'm not bragging. I just happened to notice it. I looked at the same video 4 times to make sure that I was correct. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. I want to remind you about Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. I was in there yesterday. Boy, did Nick ever give me a workout. I'll tell you what, I left with my tongue hanging out, but I felt better. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, with Nick Greenwell and all of the physical therapists. They really know their stuff and can help you get back to being you. All the exercises and the use of the hydrotherapy pool, I'm telling you folks, don't put it off. They are located at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, and I urge you to call the number and make an appointment and let them help you. 678-1191. That number again, 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Absolutely the best. By the way, speaking of best, I also want to urge you to remember our dear friends at Stoats Equipment Company, your John Deere dealer. Oh, my. For the big farms down to the guy that's got maybe 1 or 2 horses and needs a little tractor to take care of things, I'm telling you, they've got it all. Your John Deere dealer, making your life easier along with all the other implements and everything. They are good. All you need to do is stop in and see them today. Stoats Equipment Company, 119 Overland Avenue in Burley. All right, calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. And the dial tone is there. What happened to my caller? Call back, please. I was looking at the videos that were on the news about the illegal aliens trying to storm a bum rush on the border. And I was watching them as they threw the rocks over at the Border Patrol agents. Now, if you get a chance to see these videos again, look very closely on the illegal alien side of the video. Watch them as they throw the rocks and run back, and it's a real quick shot. There are piles of neatly stacked rocks. It doesn't last even hardly a second, where you can see all these rocks lined up, maybe about 8-9 feet apart, in kind of a triangular shape. And all these rocks have been lined up to throw at our Border Patrol. It's not just helter-skelter. Somebody took the time and the effort to go and put these rocks right there within throwing distance at our Border Patrol agents in a very well orchestrated protest. But if you get a chance, take a look at it. It's not just running up there and scooping up a rock or a pebble or a stone or a piece of cement. There were an orchestrated effort, if you will, to make sure all these rocks are in a neat pile for them to try to throw at and injure our Border Patrol agents. Now, speaking of this, I also want to mention that some of the people are bad people, many of which are criminals, and they estimate over 600, as a matter of fact. Members of various gangs, murderers, rapists, convicted burglary felons. And one guy had the audacity to walk up and go on camera and said, I don't care about what your rules and regulations are. I'm coming in. I'm coming into the United States and you can't stop me. Woo! Right there, it's too bad that there weren't border authorities from both Mexico and the United States to get a hold of him, put him in cuffs, and ship him back to wherever he came from. I want to mention this quickly, and I really want your opinion on this because I want you to go to, if you have the Times News newspaper this morning, I want you to go to the op-ed page, and I want you to look on the op-ed page at what I consider to be the most repulsive, the most low-class, no-class cartoon that the Times News has put in their paper for a long time. The cartoon is drawn by a syndicated cartoonist by the name of Mike Lukovich. He is an extreme liberal loon. And let me explain what the cartoon looks like. You have a depiction of the Holy Family, Joseph, Mary, and the baby Jesus laying in a manger on one side of the border fence. And then you have a picture of someone lobbing over the fence from the United States side a canister of tear gas. So Mike Lukovich, this extreme liberal loon, made the illegal aliens to resemble and come across as the Holy Family, and we, the United States, the bad people, trying to throw tear gas canisters at the Christ child. I would like to have 5 minutes in a room with this Mike Lukovich to give him a real personality adjustment. I found this so offensive, not only at this time of the year of Christmas, but any time, for the depiction of what he put in his cartoon. And painting and shading us, the United States citizens, as bad, evil people. I'm very highly offended that the Times News was dumb enough to put this in their paper. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, sir.
Did you see the cartoon?
I did not, but it's typical of the left. Who booed God at a national convention?
There's no question about it. The Democrats.
Who wants to take God out of our country?
Yep.
Who wants to take In God We Trust off our money? Those are the people that are evil. And evil people will stop at nothing to get their way. Oh, I got a customer.
Oh, I saw that, and call me back, though. I want to get more of your opinion on that, Doug. Thank you. Thank you. Once again, Wheels, we're a little hot somewhere and a little bit of feedback, but I don't know where it's coming from. But if you could help me on that, I'd appreciate it. Don't forget to Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street, near Connection Credit Union in Hayburn. These are wonderful people that honestly, sincerely care about your pets and your livestock and the health of those animals. Dr. Bill, Dr. Jordan, the whole crew over there, they really care. Now, I'm going to give you the number. If you have any problems, you call them and get right in there, 678-1177. That's the number. Whether you got itty-bitty kitty cat or you've got maybe a puppy dog that's not feeling good or a whole herd of dairy cattle, I'll tell you what, they can help. They will help. Ark Animal Hospital, 678-1177. They have the warm hearts for the cold noses. Really good people. By the way, too, don't forget every Monday on the program, we give away a dozen cookies, to Sophie's Chatterbox. I tell you what, some of the people call immediately after they've won the cookies and say, I'll be right in to get my cookies. I'm telling you what, it's fantastic. What a bakery, what a restaurant. You're going to love it. Sophie's Chatterbox, 530 E Street in Rupert. They are the best. Wishing you a very Merry Christmas. There are 10,000 more illegal aliens expected to be at our border location points in a matter of days. Homeland Security, Kirsten Nielsen said, and these are her words, 90% of these illegals do not qualify for asylum. This situation is absolutely not going to go away. It's going to get worse. It's going to be exacerbated every day. And I don't know what's going to be done because the Democrats and also the Republicans have not done their job. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, Mr. Bell. You know, I watched the same videos probably that you did, and the first thing that struck me was there aren't little children and women storming the border. It's these young men and teenagers, and they're the ones that are rushing the border trying to get in. And you know what? I, for one, am very thankful that Trump gave the military the authority to use tear gas.
There is no question in my mind that he'd better not back off on this. Let me ask you this quickly, Donna, and I need you to speak up. What would you do, or what would you employ if you didn't have the availability of using tear gas to disperse these mobs?
I'd use any of the armor that we have in the house. I mean, I'm not a violent person, but I would, if they were trying to break in and they were trying to harm the things and the people that I love, I would have no qualms about firing my weapons.
Well, and see, that's where I'm at. These are people that are performing an illegal act, trying to literally break in brazenly into the United States. And once they're in the United States, what's to say that they're not also going to break in brazenly to your home or anybody else's home? Because they have broken the law, they're going to continue to break the law, and they are not supposed to be here, plain and simple. Let's stop them now.
I'm in total agreement, and I've been saying all along, if Trump stands, takes a back seat to what he's been doing, he's lost a lot of votes. He needs to stand strong. I think he will, but the Democrats and the Republicans need to pull their heads out of where and do the job they were hired to do. Stop this before it gets any worse.
Well, see, that's the whole problem, though. A lot of people can finger point at this administration or Donald Trump, etc., but let's point our finger really at the sole source of the initial problem anyway, and that's Congress. The Democrats and the Republicans not doing a doggone thing, putting on their three-piece suits and their wingtip shoes, sitting in their big, posh leather chairs, and not doing a darn thing.
I totally agree. I'm so disgusted with both parties. Neither one of them, the Democrats have gone so far left, they've lost sight of what they initially started out to do. And the Republicans, and it happens every time they gain office, and I'll probably be, chastised for this, but they get into office promising all these things, and then they lay back and don't do a dadgum thing.
You couldn't be more correct. Donna, thank you for your call. God bless. Have a wonderful day.
You too, my friend.
All right, thank you. Caller, I'll be right there. I want to remind everybody about Berry Equipment and Rental. Ooh, yeah, they've got all the Bobcats, all the different shapes, sizes of Bobcats, I'm telling you. And they got a special deal on the Bobcats, 0% interest up to 60 months. Oh, my. You'd better check it out. All the equipment rentals, all the retail equipment sales, and if you're not sure how to run the equipment, they got a big old sandbox out behind. They will teach you. Berry Equipment and Rental, 159 West Highway 30 in Burley with Juan, 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin with Eli, and the Nampa location. I'm telling you, they're the best. Berry Equipment and Rental. Caller, good morning. Thank you.
Good morning again.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's really interesting how the media calls Trump an evil person for deploying tear gas to repel these immigrants.
Yeah.
And look at the Palestinians. They push the kids to the front line, so if they get hurt, they can scream that Israel is killing children.
Absolutely. Hamas did this just in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, so they're using the same tactics. But little do the liberals forget who said to fire on Waco, Texas, with all those children in that building.
Yep.
They didn't get tear gassed.
Well, let's also not forget, and I'm not trying to make a wider scope of this, but it's the fact that Obama's administration, yes, Obama's administration with you saintly liberal loons, they did this about 13 different times of using tear gas and other methods on the border during his administrations for 2 tenures in office. So don't give me the finger pointing at Donald Trump.
Yeah, it was over that. It was 13 times in 1 year. It totaled up to, I think, 56 times or 60 times in his tenure.
Yeah, and at some of the same locations that we're talking about right now, San Ysidro, California, for instance. And, you know, the Democrats really must have a problem with memory, because it's easy for them to get on television and literally damn, and denigrate Donald Trump and his policies and forget that it was just a matter of months ago, if you want to look at it that way, that Obama was employing the same tactics, but that's okay because he was the golden child.
Exactly, and wasn't it about 8 years ago when Obama done the State of the Union address and said we need a secure border?
Absolutely.
These people coming in illegally, and he was applauded. Trump is saying exactly the same thing, and he is a racist.
Well, I'm going to be called a racist then, because I'm saying this right now this morning, and I know you're agreeing with me. We can't let this happen. We cannot let this border dissolve into nothingness. We cannot let these people dictate to us that they're going to come in, and Doug and Zeb and everybody else is going to sit back and say, oh, gee, what can we do for you? What can we give you? What can we provide for you? Ain't going to happen, Doug, and I'm very upset that we have politicians that are not standing firm and tough because they don't know how.
Well, they're back there not to represent the people that they said they're going to represent. They're back there to pad their pockets and build their legacy and for their retirement. They don't give a darn about American people. There might be a few of them back there that do, but most of them, I don't care what party they're in, most of them back there are in there for themselves.
How many senators, Doug, or congressmen, and answer this honestly, have you seen being interviewed that are ready to snap and take their shoe off and beat it on the desk, or they're going to do something that they stand out ahead of the pack and say, come on, guys, follow me, we're going to stop this foolishness? None of them. Because they haven't got any backbone.
Well, there's one, that Jim Jordan. I think he would do it.
Okay, but where's the people behind him?
There isn't.
That's my point.
Yeah, there isn't. They're not back there. We need to clean house in Washington, D.C.
Literally.
I mean, yes, literally. We need to help President Trump drain the swamp, because when the Democrats take over in the House, all of the never-Trumpers in the Republican Party are going to just sit back and kind of help the Democrats do what they're wanting to do to take Trump out.
Well, I just think that this is so critical. I had a lady call me on the phone yesterday on my cell phone, and she says, do you really think that this problem is that serious on the border? And I thought, oh, my goodness, my dear lady. Think, this is let's use it as a test balloon. If they're allowed to come in and they can just absolutely go through the border like it's a sieve, we're done, Doug.
We are. And these people don't understand it. It's just like your own home, your own property. If you allow people to overrun your home and overrun your property, what control do you have of your property?
There you go. I've got another call waiting, Doug, and I know you've got to tell us a quick deal about the seniors, and then I've got to run. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Okay. God bless everybody. Let's do what we can for the seniors this holiday season. Let's do a donation for them. They could really use it. This time of the year, money kind of dries up, so And also, go eat lunch there.
There you go. Good idea.
Time and you'll go back. God bless.
All right, Doug, thank you. Caller, I will be right there. Don't go away, please. I'm running a little bit behind. I want to remind everybody about Dino's Septic Service. Absolutely the best at what they do. Septic tanks, pumps, septic tanks and drain fields installed, backhoe services, water and sewer lines installed, sewer and sink drain lines cleaned. You don't want to do that? They do. They do a wonderful job serving you. Call them, 436-6526, or in Burley, 678-1638. They've expanded their business to better serve you. Dino's Septic Service. Please call them today. Dino's Septic Service. They are serving you. Also, quickly, there is a really, really big sale coming up. Now, listen, this is a special sale. This is a special sale put on by the Burley Livestock, and it's presented next Monday, the 10th of December, I want to say. Third annual Bred Cow special sale, Monday, December 10th at 11 a.m. sharp at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. They're going to have over 1,200 good quality cows and heifers with top genetics, pre-consigned good quality cattle, mostly one iron cattle. And they're also going to have about 12 bulls from CL Semper over to Gooding. These are first calf, AI heifers, real good solid cows of all ages. Don't miss this. And for more information, phone Cade Rogge at 431-0074 or the Burley Livestock office at 678-9411. This is going to be Monday, December 10th at 11 a.m. at Burley Livestock special bred cow sale. Caller, thank you. You've been very patient. Go ahead, please.
Morning, Zeb. Well, they estimate that instead of 11 million illegals in the country, it's more like 22. I think Frosty probably would verify that.
Yep.
And, it's just really sad. Justice Roberts defending these liberal Obama judges, saying they're all impartial. And if Justice Roberts and President Trump would get out the Constitution and actually read it, they would find Article 4, Section 4 says, to protect us against invasion, meaning all of our elected officials. And they're not doing that. And that goes for our state people here that take an oath. But my grandfather came through Ellis Island in 1903. He had to have good health. He had to have a sponsor. And he assimilated into the country, raised a great family, including my dad. And I'll tell you, these people coming in, they've still got their nationality flags from Guatemala or wherever, and they have no intention of assimilating. They come in here to get on the welfare rolls, and most of them are not highly skilled at all. And, of course, there's what was it, 500 at least known criminals that are in the group. But you're right, Zeb. If we don't stop this border thing right now and show the world that we mean business, we'll be inundated with twice what we have now.
All right, let me jump in. Whoa. Adrian, let me jump in for a minute. I got to have some give and take here, please. Did you see this morning's paper with the cartoon on the op-ed page, yes or no?
Oh, my God, isn't that horrible?
That was one of the, I said it earlier, and I'm going to maintain my verbiage on this. That was one of the lowest class, no class cartoons I've ever seen in the Times News. And I'm saying the Times News should be ashamed, absolutely ashamed for putting that cartoon in. It absolutely portrays the United States, its citizens, you and I, as being evil people against the Holy Family. I found that despicable.
This guy, the Lucic or whatever he is, he's unbelievably bad. I mean, it's terrible. And of course, the Times News won't let anything against man-caused global warming. They've already edited out things in my letters that they wouldn't publish because I made a comment about that. The Times News really needs. I tell you, I'm threatening to stop my subscription when it comes up for renewal. And I'll tell you, most of my conservative friends have already done that.
Well, wait a minute. There's another field. Wait a minute, Adrian, there's a different field of thought on that. Just bear with me a second. By canceling your subscription and not reading what vile and trashy things they've got in there, you're not going to be aware of what they're trying to do or doing. I find it the opposite. I'm going to continue buying their lousy newspaper. I'm going to continue criticizing their lousy newspaper because I want to know what they're doing. It's kind of like playing cards. I want to know if the other guy's holding three aces.
Well, I agree, and that's the only reason you get the point why I probably won't cancel my subscription. But I mean, other than Neil Larson and Cal Thomas once in a while having an editorial in there, it's all liberal trash, and it's all to tear down this country, make us a third world country any way they can, and it's all, and bringing these people in here, I mean, it's unbelievable what has happened in our lifetimes, and you're just a little bit younger than I am, but I guarantee you, we've seen this country go down the tube so badly, and it's mainly because of our educational system. And your previous caller, I don't think we can turn this around unless we turn the education system around.
I agree with that. I've got to run and get the weather in right now, Adrian. I'm running late, but I appreciate your comments and your remarks because I think you're spot on. And thank you for calling. I got to get the weather on right now. Thanks.
You're certainly welcome, Zeb. Keep up the fight.
All right. Thank you, sir. Don't forget, our weather brought to you this hour, and I'm kind of looking outside, and it's not as bad as I thought it would be. It rained a little bit last night. It rained quite a bit. Anyway, the weather brought to you this hour by our friends at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, and they're located right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room, and they've got three wonderful doctors of audiology to help you with your hearing health. Dr. Pickup, Dr. Mitchell, and Dr. Hunsaker. And I'm telling you, they really care about your hearing health, and they keep expanding their business to better serve the community's hearing health care needs. Make an appointment today at 312-0957. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And right now, here's the weather with Gina.
Definitely feels like winter is settling into the valley. Here's a look at your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are expecting a slight chance of snow showers, maybe rain showers for today, about a 20% chance, mostly cloudy skies, expecting a high of 43. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low of 30. Tomorrow, we do have a chance of snow showers in the morning. That's going to give way to rain showers by tomorrow afternoon. Mostly cloudy skies, expecting a high of 44. That's going to continue for tomorrow night. Accumulations of less than 1 inch possible, more snow up in the higher elevations, though. Expecting a low of 30. By Friday, 50% chance of snow showers in the forecast. High of 36. Mostly cloudy for Friday night, low of 20. And Saturday, still a 20% chance of snow showers in the mid-morning. Mostly cloudy skies, high of 36. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina, and brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Wonderful people that are very concerned about your hearing health care. Call for an appointment at 312-0957. Thank you. I don't know why people call me on my cell phone when I'm on the air. I can't take that call. Thank you very much. And right now, calls are welcome at 436-2244. 1-866-927-4587. I have one other small story that I want to put on this morning because it just makes me furious. Why does it make me furious? Because I know more about this topic than most people, because I've lived it. So far, I've been following. There are at least 116 confirmed cases of polio that have afflicted and affected mostly children, crippling them. There are 107 more that are being investigated as being of the same nature, crippling them. I will say this, and I mean this with every ounce of my body. We are letting people into this country, be they refugees or illegal aliens. We do not have any any information about their health care, vaccination programs, if any. And we are opening up a Pandora's box of the resurgence of killer viruses and diseases. My heart goes out to these children that now have come down with a polio-like virus and they're laying in a bed with dead muscles and probably will spend the rest of their life either in a wheelchair or on crutches. And don't you dare criticize me for going after a situation that we are basically with open arms welcoming into this country. We have had the greatest health care in the world, and now it's being diminished because we don't know people that are coming. There's no medical records. There's not a county clerk file on these people. Well, yeah, so-and-so had this shot on this day. They're up to date on that, etc. Nothing. And we're letting these people into our country, and it's affecting now our children with a polio-like disease that everybody thought, well, polio's all over. No, it's not. It's rearing its ugly head again. And I'm damn mad that the liberal loons can't see past their nose as to the problem and how it's being brought here. Calls welcome 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Got to calm down. That one makes me really, really bitter. Today is the day that the vote's going to be held in all the little Democratic circles as the mice gather to eat their cheese as to whether or not they're going to vote for Nancy Pelosi for Speaker of the House. I think she's going to get confirmed, but I wish it would be a tussle. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Deb, knowing you on a personal basis and somewhat what you've been through, you are a perfect advocate of polio and how it affects your life. But the one thing I would like to know is, what are the symptoms of this and how is it spread?
It's a virus. It's absolutely spread. In our case, my sister and I both, it was spread because some of the kids that we were associating with at that time were carriers. I mean, it's just a heinous, heinous disease that I'm so grateful that the Salk vaccine and other medications were developed to put polio down, but not in all countries. And now we are welcoming back people into this country where maybe whooping cough or measles or any number of maladies are coming back and rearing their ugly head in this day and age of 2018, polio being one of them. Keith, we don't have any medical records on these people. Aren't you concerned?
I am very concerned, and many people younger than you and I have never heard of an iron lung.
I lived in one.
One person that lived in an iron lung most of his life, and his name was Fearless Ferris. And he started the Stinker Station years and years ago.
That's right.
And he just made the best of what he had, but it is such a terrible, terrible disease.
To use the words of the TV actor, Mr. T, I pity the fool that ever would come up to me and minimize polio.
It's, you know, I lived in the generation where we didn't have the cure. I can remember when Dr. Salk
absolutely
found this cure. And I prayed to my Father in heaven that this was the answer, because so many people that I knew had come down with this dreaded disease.
Keith, I appreciate what you're saying. I'm almost out of time. I don't want to cut you off because I really appreciate your sentiments on this, but I've got to get a commercial break in, and I've got one other call. So God bless you, and thank you. I appreciate it very much.
You bet.
Thank you. Caller, I'll be right there. You're going to have about 30 seconds. Don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with the best in tires to get you ready for anything that's on those roadways. Slush, mush, ice, snow, you name it. They've got the best of tires, all the different tread designs, and of course all the sizes to fit your cars, pickups, and SUVs. All you need to do is stop in and see them today, and I would. I don't think you better put it off. And don't forget too, the best in brake service and front end alignment, shocks and struts, and batteries. They've got it all, but the best in service. Stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Caller, please keep in mind, I've only got 30 seconds. Go.
Okay. We need to keep up on our vaccinations in this country. We've gotten liberal about that. There's choice as to whether you do or you don't want to, and the people who are not being vaccinated are spreading disease. That includes the illegal aliens. The other thing is that seniors need to keep up on their tetanus, diphtheria, and cellular pertussis or whooping cough.
Absolutely.
Every 10 years.
Absolutely.
Because there's a resurgence of whooping cough.
Linda, I hate to cut you off, but I've got to run to the news. Thank you so much.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you very much. We're going to take a break for about 7 minutes and come back with Dave Bigo and then Rex Jones. We got a whole bunch of things to cover. Don't go away. Zeb at the Ranch. Stay tuned. Oh, good morning and welcome back to hour number 2, Zeb at the Ranch on a Wednesday, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you, and stop in and see them for your tires today. Don't forget, too, some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, one of our great advertisers, here's Western Way Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Way Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Way Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal.
I tell you, and I certainly hope you follow through to call them at 734-6969. Western Way Services, always at your disposal. Get on the route service, and once a week they come by with that big truck, gather up your garbage. It's gone. You're all better. That's right. They take care of your garbage problems. Give them a call today. Western Way Services, always at your disposal, 734-6969. Want to also mention our dear friend Holly Rowe and her new venture, and it's such a great idea for seniors that want to stay at home. Minnetonka Hearts for Seniors at 135 East 23rd Drive in Burley. All you need to do is call Holly at 312-5715. Now listen, they can help the seniors with daily tasks in their home, maybe meal preparation, or maybe some light housekeeping, or maybe helping run some errands. All of this and more with Minnetonka Hearts for Seniors at 135 East 23rd Drive in Burley. Here's the number again. Don't forget to call 312-5715. Really, really nice people. Hey, don't forget on Thursdays we have a segment at 9:17, and it is your Cassia Regional Hospital. The great folks that treat you over there, the many dedicated medical experts serving you at Cassia Regional Hospital. That's on Thursdays. Don't forget tomorrow at 9:17. Your friends, your neighbors at Cassia Regional Hospital. Also, before we go to our buddy Dave Bego, I got to quickly make a note here so I don't forget, because I've got a great memory. It's just a little bit short. Some of our Christmas greetings, and we got to do this right. There we go. Merry Christmas from Butte Irrigation at 116 South, 600 West of Paul at Red Cap Corner, also on Kimberly Road. Two great locations for your Zomatic dealer. Butte Irrigation, for all your irrigation needs. They will get you wet. Butte Irrigation wishing you a very Merry Christmas, along with Golden Valley Warehouse at 468 West, 1000 South of Burley. They thank all their customers for their business, and of course Golden Valley Warehouse, selling quality seed to quality people, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. And our friends at Snake River Auto Body and Paint, 404 4th Avenue West in Twin Falls. Ken and Dan, the whole crew. If you get a little ding in your four-wheeled Wonder, they can make it look brand spanking new. Absolutely. Get a hold of Snake River Auto Body and Paint, 734-5790. All of them wishing you Merry Christmas. Right now, with my cough drops, I'm going to say good morning to Mr. Indianapolis, Indiana, Dave Bego. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, Zev. How you doing this morning?
Not bad. I've had this doggone cold for about a month, and I've grown accustomed to it, so I think I'm going to welcome it into the house and keep it here all year round.
That doesn't sound good.
No.
You sure it's a cold?
I don't know what it is, but poor Deanna and I will go along and be great for a while, and then all of a sudden have to go into coughing fits, and it's driving both of us nuts.
Yeah, maybe you ought to talk to the doctor again.
Well, we are going to do that, but right now we're on the program with a man that he's relishing in how good his football team is this morning. The Indianapolis Colts, I watched them, and by golly, you got something to be proud of back there.
Yeah, they're doing much better, and of course we got our quarterback back this year, and we got a new head coach who is got stronger personality and direction with the players and that, and it's paying off. So I hope they keep it up.
Absolutely. Wheels, turn Mr. Bego up just a little bit in my headsets, if you would, please. Dave, the number one thing I'm concerned about this morning, I'm not concerned about anything else, because I think this is going to be the straw that could break America's back, is the border. Right now, this is a confrontation that we cannot lose. We cannot weaken. We cannot let these people tell us they're coming into this country, and we basically being shoved in the chest backwards, accepting these people. This border situation, Trump has got to remain firm. What are your thoughts?
Well, I agree with you 100%. He has to do that because, these people were paid to do this by people on the left and others, and their whole intent is to get these people in to help bring this country down. And we're a nation of laws, and we got to uphold our laws. And if you want to come to America, you can have that opportunity, but you go through the legal process. And if you pass, then you can come in. Otherwise, we're not going to let you in, give you amnesty until you get in and all like that. The border has to be protected, and they used tear gas the other day, and people got upset about that. But you got to do something. And Obama used tear gas too, and the news media doesn't want to talk about that. But the truth is you've got to stop these people, and we got to protect our borders.
Dave, if not the tear gas, and I'm putting you on the spot, and I don't mean to, but what other options are available? Are you going to stand there at the border with your arms folded as a Border Patrol agent, and you're going to say, oh, please, Mr. Illegal Alien, don't come in, don't throw rocks at me, oh, please. You've got to have a show of force. If it's not the tear gas, what is it?
Well, I think what you do is you arrest them. Anybody that comes over, you arrest them immediately and put them in jail, and then ship them back over to the border and say, don't come back here, because you have just ruined any future qualification for coming into this country.
My goodness, Dave, many of these, and by the way, anybody that's going to sit there and go crybaby on me and say, oh, these are all mothers with little children, how dare you be so hateful? Listen, 90% or more of these caravanners are 18 to 35 years of age, single males, and they're causing the problem. And I agree with you. Arrest them, put them in cuffs, ship them back to their home country, deport them immediately. I'm sick and tired of this mamby-pamby attitude.
Well, that's what you have to do. And again, you tell them, you have just violated our laws. You'll never be allowed to come into this country, and be done with it. And that's what we got to do. And again, a lot of these, there's been, I've seen articles and reports on it. A lot of these people have been paid to do this stuff by people in this country, and it's just again, and I'm going to keep harping on this all the time, is that they want to take this country and make it into a socialistic, communistic country so they can control us. And when you look around the world, it doesn't work. And that's why people want to come to this country, because they like our free market society.
Absolutely. Dave, I don't know if you had it in your newspaper this morning, but it was in our local newspaper this morning. A syndicated cartoonist, Mike Lukovich, who I think is one of the lowest classes of humans available on the earth, drew a cartoon. And did you see the cartoon I'm referring to about the Holy Family, Joseph, Mary, and the Christ Child on the U.S. border? Did you see that?
No, I did not see that.
Well, let me give you a bird's eye view of what it looks like. In your mind, you can figure the depiction and comment on it. On the south side of the border, the Mexican side of the border, you have a picture of Joseph and Mary and the Christ Child laying in a manger right up next to the border fence, and then being lobbed over the fence from the U.S. side a tear gas canister. I took great offense at this cartoon, because the depiction of the Holy Family as the illegal aliens and us, the United States, as being an evil villain trying to tear gas the Christ Child, that was the most offensive cartoon. And if I saw Mike Lukovich today, I would go up, get him by the short end of the necktie, and tell him exactly what I think.
Yeah, it's sad that these people are doing this, and, again, it all dovetails with their liberal philosophy and the far left who wants to change things, because, they've gotten into these people's minds that, oh, yeah, we're going to do all these things for you and give you all this stuff and take care of you, and you don't have to worry about that, and, that's what we're going to do, bringing people into this country and all that. But at the end of the day, all they want to do is take control of us. And, the free markets is what built this country. And if you go back to, the original people that came over to this country, they lived in a kind of a socialistic, communistic society for a while, and they finally woke up and said, that's not working. And each one of them were given a plot of land and said, you go take care of yourselves and move forward. And that's what started the fundamental capitalism, free markets in this country, and made this country grow and become the exceptional country it really is. And that's what people need to go back and look at, that Plymouth Rock was the beginning of what's right for this whole world.
Absolutely. Here's the deal, though, Dave. The liberal media absolutely is going after people like me and others. We're the hate mongers. We're the bigots. We're the ones that are stirring up an ugly pot. We're looking at a situation where I talked to a good friend of mine this morning back in D.C., and they're doing the tracking of the numbers. At least 10,000 more illegal aliens are expected at the border in the matter of a few days. This problem is growing, and it's got to be stopped now.
Yep, and we just need to put more military on the border. And, and they start coming across, like I said, we just arrest them and cuff them and send them home. And that's what you got to do.
As a businessman, I'm going to change gears here a little bit, and I want to ask you about something because it offended me. and I'm not going to buy any of their products because I'm offended. General Motors saying they're canceling out and curtailing thousands of United States jobs with General Motors, and they're going to keep their entities open in China as they process and make electric cars with the batteries manufactured and processed in China. What are your thoughts about this? Because, man, it makes me a little worried.
Well, it does, and it's sad to see. And but the other side of that is that when you, and there's been some articles out there on this too, when you look behind the scenes, a lot of it is the unions pushing them to pay the people more, give them more, and then here's the big thing: the productivity level is that you go into these plants and these people are sitting around doing nothing, and so it's hard for GM to be competitive and be profitable when you're having to fight this type of thing all the time. And we cleaned a GM plant here in Indiana for a while, and the union got us pushed out, and it was kind of interesting because when we first went in there to clean the facility, and we had about 30 full-time people in there. The people we replaced were GM employees that had been and UAW members, and when you walked in and watched them work and watched them do things, it was so slow and just not very good at all. It was unbelievable. And in fact, one thing we had to do is we changed light bulbs and lamps and stuff like that. And I watched one day when these people were changing before we came in. And it took 3 people to change a light bulb.
Oh, my.
And, you can't have that in today's world. You got to have people that are efficient and, do well and move forward and stuff like that.
Yep.
And the unions don't want to do that because they want more union members so they have the dues money for their own pocketbook. And that's what they're trying to do.
I totally agree. Totally agree. Are you still there? I heard a cutoff.
No, I'm here.
Oh, good. For a minute, I thought I'd lost you. Dave, we have a caller with a question and a comment. And caller, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Well, I've said this before. In Tennessee, Toyota has a plant. They make $40 to $45 an hour, which is a lot. And if you think about it, and they don't have troubles, and they're non-unionized, unless something's changed since I last heard about this. And GM's got $75 an hour, and all these extra, health, retirement. It's so overloaded, and then they're inefficient to boot. And you say to yourself, does it? When you know this, and you're standing there, and there's 3 of you changing a light bulb, and you just think that it's all right, and you know that it's not, and you say to yourself, this kind of attitude throughout our country is killing us. And then you've got people coming across the border who want to take it while the taking's good. And I tell you what, man, there is nowhere else on the earth that's like America. We better save it, or it's going to be a really sorry mess. I'll hang up.
Respond to the caller, Dave, if you would, please.
Well, yeah, he was actually echoing some of the things I just talked about, and, it's true. And, you got to understand that the far left are people that really don't understand how to work in our free market capitalistic society and be successful. They only know how to work in a system where they can use intimidation tactics and lies and misinformation and control. And this is what we're fighting. And the American people need to stand up and stop these people, and so does our legislatures on both sides of the aisle in Washington and across the country.
Amen. Shifting to another story, I'm sure that you are already in ownership of your tickets at $700 a pop to go to the nearest city where Bill and Hill are going to be conversing about how negative and bad for the country President Trump is. They had their first little sortie over in Toronto the other evening, and they had it at a 19,000-seat auditorium. And only 3,300 seats were used, and I heard from rumors that they actually went out on the street and offered tickets at $6 a pop just to get bodies inside the auditorium. What are your thoughts about Bill and Hill?
I think Bill and Hill need to go back and retire and get out of the political end, because they are not going to make a lot of progress. And just the fact that hardly anybody shows up for their speeches and other stuff like that tells you the story here. But again, they're being pushed by the left to do this stuff, and this is all part of a big agenda and tactics by the left.
What does it tell you when you look at the far left? I mean, the Ocasio-Cortezes and the Beto O'Rourke's and others that are coming out from under rocks or crawling through the woodwork with the flag that says, I'm a socialist and I want to make America a socialist country. And they seem to be gaining traction in the big inner cities. I'm really concerned right now. What are you?
These people keep doing this stuff, and what you have to do is expose to them. Yeah, they're going to gain traction. Some of the bigger cities are mostly liberal, like New York and Chicago and stuff like that. But we need to get the majority of America, stand up again. And I'm going to keep saying this: stand up and expose these people for who they are. That's one of the things we did with the SEIU, is they went out and attacked us and our employees and our customers and everything. We stood up and we exposed their lies and their misinformation. And once you start doing that with these people, they start, hiding behind the trees and that, and kind of going away. And that's what you got to do.
What do you think, though, as far, and I'm not making a joke out of this, it's really factual, there's close to 40 different Democrats, from the spectrum of being absolutely socialist all the way up to being somewhat moderate, that are throwing their hat possibly in the ring to run for president in 2020. Nearly 40. How are you going to shake out all the chaff and come up with somebody that's halfway decent? I don't think the Democrats can do it.
I think it's a good thing for the Republican Party. Okay?
Short and sweet, John Wayne. Speaking of which, today is the day that they're going to vote on Nancy Pelosi. It might have already occurred while we're on the air right now, as to whether or not she'll retain the speakership of the House. I personally would like to see a lot of turmoil and a lot of problems with her vote. What are your thoughts?
No, I agree. I think, we need to see upset in that party and all that. And again, I've said this before. I've met a lot of Democrats that are tired of what's going on the left side of the party, and they're fighting back. And I think we're going to continue to see a lot of fights, which is going to hurt the party overall.
Well, I always look forward to having you on the program, Dave, and I guess I'll wrap it up by saying, holy smokes, what happened last night? I didn't see the final score, but I know you're well aware. How did the game with Duke and Indiana end up?
I do not know. I was at a social event last night with a local high school where our kids went to, and I lost track of all that, to be honest with you.
It wasn't good in the first half. I know that Duke had like a 20-point lead at halftime. They look like they're going to be another powerhouse in collegiate basketball.
Yeah, it could be. We'll just have to see where it goes.
All right. And by the way, have you been inducted into the Hall of Fame? You haven't told us about that.
No, I did not make it this year.
Well, are you up for a renomination, re-election next year?
Oh, yes.
Okay, good. Well, keep us posted so we can salute you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and please say prayers for me. I'd appreciate it.
I will do that. Dave Bego, Indianapolis, Indiana, author, great spokesman, political analyst. Thank you, Dave. God bless. See you next week.
Well, thanks, and have a great weekend.
All right, buddy.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Always enjoy having him on the program. Dave Bego. He's been a friend for a long, long time. I know somebody else that's been a friend for a long, long time to you and everyone here in Magic Valley. Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert with Joel Heward, his family, and his staff. Serving you, and I mean that, serving you. When there's the death of a loved one and everything is up in the air, you don't know what to do, you don't know what has to be done in a short time frame, stop. Call them at 436-5636, and they always treat you and your family with the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert, 436-5636, and Joel Heward also serving you and your family at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. Well, in just a few minutes, we'll have our next guest on. And I want to remind you, too, about our friends over at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. They're located at 459 Overland in Burley. Hello, Jeff, and hello, the rest of the staff. They're getting ready for the Christmas holidays. You'd better, too. They've got everything in there for the beautification and the comfortization, if there is such a word as that, for you. I mean, they've got all the recliners. They've got all the sofas. They've got all the dining room sets. They've got all the mattresses. They've got all the flooring, the floor covering, the carpet, the vinyl, the luxury vinyl, the planks, everything for you and your home. Please take the time to go in there today and talk to the professionals at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. 459 Overland in Burley, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Really nice people. One more good word, and then we're going to go to our next guest, but I also want to remind you about Let's Ride. Oh, yeah, get your motor running. With the weather forecast as it is, the hills should be seeing some angel dandruff up there, and that means snowmobiles. Absolutely. Load them up and head to the hills and stop at Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. They've got all the snowmobiles. They've got a showroom full of them. And along with that, they've got all the snow plows for your ATVs. They've got it all for wintertime need and fun. Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4. Let's Ride, where the fun is sold. You get over and see those good folks today. All righty, let's go to the phone line, and I believe we have a gentleman on the program. I don't know if he's ever been on the show before. I think he was once quite some time ago. Rex Jones with our friends at Hanson Mortuary. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, Zeb. How are you today?
Well, not too bad. My golly, why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody in Magic Valley what you do at Hanson Mortuary?
At Hanson Mortuary, I am the aftercare consultant. So Joel takes care of the families at the time of need, and I'm the guy that meets with them afterwards and takes care of them after that and helps them prearrange or answer any questions that they have after a service, or if they have any for themselves.
You know, right there, and I don't mean to sound calloused or hard when I say this, but a lot of people, they don't realize that there's more of a human touch after the funeral that you provide for people. Explain exactly what you do.
Well, I follow up. Here at Hanson Mortuary, we care about the people we serve. We just don't want, once the service is over, that they think we're gone. That's not us. We want everybody to know that we want to build a friendship, a love for one another, that if they have a problem, they can come in and talk with us, and we can help them through that hard time. Because when you lose somebody, it's hard.
Well, I can imagine in my own behalf of my family members that have gone on, wow. I mean, you sit there at the funeral, and then the next day you wake up, and it might be a day or two later, and wham, you really get hit with emotions and feelings and loneliness, and that's where you come in, right?
That's where I come in. And I call them. I do a lot of phone calling. I do a lot of checking on people. Because that's the name of the business. That's how this community thrives, is us becoming friends and we take care of our own. And we got a big area here.
Well, Rex, I don't mean to pry into your past, but how in the world did you get started in this kind of a profession? I mean, you really have to be a caring individual to be involved in all these people's lives.
Well, Zeb, I'll be honest with you, I helped Joel with a few funerals, and I liked that part, but there's some parts I did not like. And he said, hey, come on, because he says he knows I like to talk to people. And sometimes I talk too much, but I care about the people I'm around. I mean, I love to talk to people. I love to hear their stories. And I thought, you know what, I can do this.
Does it take a lot of special training, Rex, to do this? Did you have to do a lot of studies and basically school work on how to meet and talk to people? Tell us about what you had to learn.
Well, so what I do is I make pre-arrangements. So I had to go and get a license, an insurance license, to be able to sell the pre-need industry side. And then the rest I take classes. I have a group I work with that that trains me. And then a lot of it, you got to be yourself, Zeb. I mean, I listen to you. There's no punches pulled when people are talking to you. You are yourself, and that's how people want to see you as yourself.
I think people really respect an open approach, don't they?
Yeah. And I'm not a used car salesman. I genuinely care about the people in this community.
Absolutely.
Where I grew up, this is a community I love. I never wanted to leave. I want to give back. And this is one way I can give back at a time of need.
Well, let me ask you this. Talking about giving back, there's an event coming up on this Friday. I'd like you to kind of give us a thumbnail sketch of what you're involved in.
Okay. Since Joel and I grew up in this community and we do service this community, we want to give back. So we got a movie event coming up this Friday at 1 o'clock. We had to change the movie that we were going to show, and we were going to show The Nutcracker, but Bob Harris says it's going to be gone, and so we moved it over to Instant Family with Mark Wahlberg.
Okay.
We would love for everybody in this area to come and fill that theater that day for us. You get a popcorn, you get a drink out of it. It's all on us. You do have to hear us for 5 minutes, but there's no strings attached. We want people to come and enjoy that on us.
Okay, now, this is going to be, if I say something wrong, jump in and tell me. It's going to be this Friday, November 30th, at 1 p.m. in the afternoon at Century Cinema 5. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And it is free.
Free.
I love that word. And this movie, Instant Family, I've seen some of the outtakes, and it looks like it's a kind of a funny movie.
It is. You know what, Zeb? I went and seen it last Friday, and it's based on a true story.
Oh, really?
It's a wonderful movie. It is a wonderful movie. It's funny. You might have a little tearjerker in there, but it's a funny, good movie that goes along with what we do here at Hanson Mortuary.
Well, it all ties into the holiday spirit and the idea of giving to others. And on behalf of Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert, you're inviting everybody to this free movie event on Friday.
We are. Come enjoy us.
All right. Are you gonna pop the popcorn and butter the popcorn, or is somebody else going to do that?
We'll let Bob take care of that. I'd eat it.
Well, I tell you what, Rex, I really appreciate you and Joel and the rest of your staff over there. I mean, you folks really do care, and you're so community-oriented. And I want to extend to you and all the folks over there a very Merry Christmas, and thanks for all you do.
Thank you, Zeb. Merry Christmas to you guys and everybody, all your followers. We appreciate it.
We'll keep plugging it for Friday, my friend. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Rex Jones over there at Hanson Mortuary. They're going to have a free movie event coming up at 1 o'clock this coming Friday, November 30th at Century Cinema 5. Really good folks. And this is sponsored by Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. Nice people. All right, your turn. I'm going to do a commercial break, and then I want some more calls coming in. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Hey, the Bennett Boys. The Bennett Boys are going to have a sale this Saturday, December 1st. It's the Vega auction. And it's going to start at 11 o'clock on this Saturday morning over in Jerome at 326 West, 100 North. From the center of Jerome, go west 3 miles, then north a mile, then west a half a mile. Look for the signs, park in the field. They're going to have trucks and Jeeps and trailers, all kinds of trailers. And they're going to have, of course, shop equipment and all kinds of tools. And everything is sold as is, where it is, and miscellaneous items. Don't miss it. Coming up this Saturday, December 1st at 11 o'clock, the Vega auction over in the Jerome area. And for more information, get a hold of my buddy Joe Bennett at 539-0111. The Bennett Boys Auction Service. No sale too big, no sale too small. The Bennett Boys, yep, they sell them all. Really good people. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. How are you?
Hey, I'm just fantastic. You're missing something there. Didn't you realize that it takes 3 people to change the light bulb?
No.
Okay, one guy's standing on the ladder holding the bulb, and the other 2 are picking the ladder up, turning it so they screw the bulb in.
You know, really, it's facetious to hear that, but caller, you know as well as I do, with the unions and the stupidity that goes along with the unions, it really is almost true, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, it just fits. It just fits, you know.
And
I don't know what we're going to do to this country. It's really scary.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you a question really quick. You say, well, what are we going to do with this country? I maintain, and I really got criticized over this a couple of weeks ago. I had some nasty emails and calls. I said, and I stand behind it, that basically the work ethic in America is dead. What are your thoughts?
It is. You know, I grew up in the South, and of course I'm 83, going on 60, and you know, and I've seen it all, and this it's just I agree with you one aspect. I don't believe pretty soon if something drastic doesn't happen, there's no turning back.
Okay, that turning back is the point where I don't make any jokes out of, because I think we're almost there. I think that if we allow people that are not citizens of this country to dictate and dedicate to us what they're going to do or not going to do, or what they're going to be allowed to do in our country, we've lost it. We've lost the value of our Constitution. We've lost the value of our government. We've lost the value of our ethics and everything this country stands for. And we're doggone close.
Well, it is, and if you look at it, they're brainwashing our kids. I guess it's a necessity anymore. We were sitting, and we used to go to Arizona quite often, and we were sitting in a restaurant one time down there, and some people came in with 5 kids, and so help me, they all had a handheld phone, and they sat down at the tables, and the mom and dad was working at the fingers, and all the kids were doing the same thing, texting back and forth, and the meal was come in and sat there. They set the meal down, and they barely paid attention to the meal. But you look at this, and I guess computers are a necessity, but I personally think, I'm old-fashioned, I personally think this is going to be the downfall of part of our country.
Oh, I think we're already there. I totally agree with everything you said. I was listening to a couple of commentators the other night, late night, and they said, too, that we forgot how to communicate and talk and visit and explain things to each other face to face. It's either with an electronic device or on the doggone phone. We can't talk to each other face to face anymore.
That's true, and what really upsets me is I was watching the news last night, and there was an emergency deal that came up that they they gave a website to contact if you run into this problem. I can't remember what it was. It was really serious, but what really irritates me, I think they should be required to get a phone number, because a lot of us older folks don't have that capability, and so we can't. There's another thing, we can't participate in some of that.
No, I agree with you. And I'll tell you something else. I'm a little bit younger than you, but I will say this. I absolutely am refusing to do certain things that are of the electronic so-called social media. I don't want to be a part of it, and I'm not going to participate in it. I'm going back to the old school. If I've got something to say, I'm either going to call you up and make an appointment to see you face-to-face, or we're not going to meet.
That's exactly right. I'm with you 100%. Hang in there.
All right, my friend. Hey, thank you for your conversation this morning. Thank you very much.
You bet. Bye.
Nice man right there, and he's spot on. You know, we really have lost the ability. And I don't mean to say anything or cast aspersions on the way you do business, but Deanna and I have had a couple of conversations about this. You know, it's so easy, I guess, to send an email. No, I like personal touch. I like calling the people. I like talking to the people, and then I like going to see the people. I'm not going to spend my time just being tied down to the electronic media of, oh, that email, okay, I'll respond with an email. To me, that's cold, 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 and not the way I want to do business. Caller, good morning, you're on the air. Oh, they're backing up. Look out, wheels. They're going to run over you. I don't know what happened to them, but call me back at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. What do you think? Have we gone so far away from being able to walk up to each other, shake hands, and say, let's go have a cup of coffee and we'll visit? Or call somebody up and say, hey, we'd like to come over and visit with you tonight. Whatever the case might be. But the electronic media, I think, has just gone way too far. And I'm not the only one. There's a lot of educators, a lot of people involved in education, and people that are involved working with different social segments of our society that are agreeing with us. We've got to get back to more of a personal, face-to-face nature. I'll do a weather forecast, and then I'll take some of your calls on this. Come on, give me a jingle. Weather this hour brought to you by Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. And they've been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. These are the professionals. These are the people that really care about you, your family, and your business. The best of tax return preparation, tax planning, business consulting, bookkeeping services, retirement planning, all the things that you really need to have somebody help you with. Absolutely. Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company, with offices in Burley and Rupert. Here's Gina with the weather.
Definitely feels like winter is settling into the valley. Here's a look at your weather forecast for Zebeth Ranch. We are expecting a slight chance of snow showers, maybe rain showers for today, about a 20% chance, mostly cloudy skies. Expecting a high of 43. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low of 30. Tomorrow, we do have a chance of snow showers in the morning. That's going to give way to rain showers by tomorrow afternoon. Mostly cloudy skies, expecting a high of 44. That's going to continue for tomorrow night. Accumulations of less than 1 inch possible. More snow up in the higher elevations, though. Expecting a low of 30. By Friday, 50% chance of snow showers in the forecast. High of 36. Mostly cloudy for Friday night, low of 20. And Saturday, still a 20% chance of snow showers in the mid-morning. Mostly cloudy skies, high of 36. That's your weather forecast for Zebeth Ranch.
Thank you, Gina, and brought to everybody this hour by Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. And don't forget, it's getting close to the end of the year. You better make sure your tax records are ready for your business. Don't hesitate. Give them a call and find out more. Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company, with offices in Burley and Rupert. Okay, your turn. Call me. Get on the air and give us a jingle. I'd love to hear what do you think? You know, and this wasn't even a prepared discussion point this morning. I don't like to send emails. I don't like the electronic media. I like the old-fashioned way. And everybody said, well, you're just an old fogey. No. I am an old fogey, but I still believe you can get a lot more done with sincerity and possibly a lot more done in an honest fashion with a handshake and a sitting down across from each other. That's my belief, and I'm going to stick to it. I think social media, some of these kids, they get up in the morning and they don't talk to anybody. They don't say hello to anybody. They don't ask anybody about, well, did that team win, or what's the weather forecast, or what's happening. No, it's just all on the electronic media. Their eyes are glued to that screen. And I'm just going to come right out and say it. I think that's going to be one of our major problem points and lead to our demise. You agree or not? Give me a call. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And I hate that stuff. I really do. While I'm waiting for your call that I know is coming in, I want to remind you, too, about our dear friends at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Oh, my, the best of life insurance and health insurance, and they just work so hard for you, your family, and your business to be sure that you're protected. So please give them a call for an appointment today, and that number is 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. Very accessible and devoted to serving you, Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Your thoughts, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I read this story this morning, and it made me furious. Listen to this. Britain has rejected the asylum plea from the persecuted Christian woman in Pakistan. Her name is Asia Bibi. Now, let me tell you a little bit about this story. Asia Bibi is the living definition of somebody who really needs asylum, not like this mess on our border. She is a woman who is unsafe, who has had her life threatened many times, and you know why? For no other reason than she is a Christian. She has been subjected to all these death threats, fatwas, from Muslims, and all these countries over in the Middle East have now put out a death notice on her, and she is asking for and begging for asylum in Britain. And you know what Theresa May said to her? Nope. You can't come into my country. And you know what the reason was? And this is where it makes me very upset. Theresa May said that by allowing Asia Bibi into their country, a Christian woman, it might upset and risk inflaming community tensions in Britain with the Muslims. Have we got to that point? You know, little by little, inch by inch, foot by foot, yard by yard, mile by mile, the Muslims and Islam are encroaching all countries of the world, us included. And now a Christian woman has been rejected for asylum in Britain after she's had multiple death threats put on her head because she is a Christian. And the Muslims are absolutely against her and going to get her. And Theresa May showing absolutely no backbone whatsoever, saying, no, you can't come into my country because it might inflame community tensions. If that doesn't make you mad, living in this Christian country, at least it was when I woke up this morning, I don't even know what to say. I am so absolutely opposed to multiculturalism. I'll say it again. I hate and despise what multiculturalism is doing to our country, let alone what it's already done to Germany and Britain and others. What are your thoughts? Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call, please. Let's see. I want to remind you about a special cattle sale coming up, too. And while I'm waiting for your calls, Burley Livestock Sale Yard is presenting their third annual Bred Cow Special Sale. It's going to be on Monday, December 10th at 11 a.m. sharp. That's on a Monday, December 10th. Don't forget that. Over 1,200 good quality cows and heifers with top genetics and pre-consigned good quality cattle, mostly one iron cattle. And this is going to be a dandy good sale. First calf heifers, AI heifers, really good solid cows of all ages. Phone Kate Rogge at 431-0074 or the office at Burley Livestock, and that's 678-9411. Cattlemen, don't miss this sale. It's going to be a dandy on Monday, December 10th. Don't miss it. Well, good heavens, I didn't get a call during that little brief 30 seconds, and I'd like to hear what your thoughts are. I think it's despicable, absolutely despicable, that the world is cringing in a so-called corner. Ooh, we don't want to upset Islam. Ooh, we don't want to upset the Muslims. And here's a case where a woman absolutely has done nothing wrong except profess her faith as being a Christian, and they've put they being Islam, put a death threat on her head, and she asked for asylum in Great Britain, and Theresa May, spineless, said no. Why? It might risk inflaming community tensions. I find that despicable. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Something else that really is despicable, in my way of thinking, maybe you think it's great, I don't. A Chinese scientist has developed gene management to where basically you can select your child. You can select the hair color, the eye color, and you can process the genes so that they will be immune from any diseases, etc. Well, that's too much for me. That's way too much for me. That's playing God. And I just shudder when I think about somebody using a test tube to create a mankind that is out of that test tube and all the horrors that could occur. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I also want to remind you about our dear friends at Burley Veterinary Hospital. Hello. They have excellent doctors and excellent staff over at 2869 Overland in Burley Veterinary Hospital, and they absolutely work every day for the health of your pets and livestock. Don't forget, they wish you a very Merry Christmas. Number to call, 678-5509. Burley Veterinary Hospital at 2869 Overland in Burley. Merry Christmas. We're going to take a little break and come back with one of my favorite guests, Dr. Gerard Lamero. And then at 10:32, we're going to be discussing a very serious problem and all the scams that are coming up, trying to get into your billfold and my billfold that are aimed at maybe senior citizens around this state and the Northwest. Dea Agaskith is going to be on the air, so that should be really interesting. Wheels, we're going to kick it over to you for about 7 minutes, and we'll be back with more Zeb at the Ranch right after the news. Oh, Oh, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. It's my favorite time of the year. Good morning, Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All the tires you need for your safe driving. And, of course, also some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. We'll have our guest on the air momentarily. Merry Christmas wishes from Magic Valley Carpet at 613 D Street in Rupert. Don't forget, company coming. You need a new carpet? They can help. They will help at Magic Valley Carpet. 613 D Street in Rupert. Call them 436-1722. Along with Vicky's Country Garden at 185 South 600 West of Paul. She thanks everybody for all the business during the spring and the summer and the early fall. And she says, now, don't forget, gift certificates for Christmas. Call her at 431-5667, Vicky's Country Garden. And last but not least, Jeff and the whole staff over at Magic Valley Irrigation, 44 East, 500 South of Burley. They thank all the farmers for their business, and they wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. There you go. Right now, we're going to go to the phone line. And I have the utmost respect for this man, for what he's done and who he is. And he's written a lot of books, and he's spot on, I think, politically, with his political analyst of what's happened in the past and what might take place in the future. And I say a good morning to the author of More Great News for America, Dr. Gerard Lamero. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great, and it's wonderful to be with you.
Dr. Lamaro, I wanted to have you back on the air this morning. I know you were on just recently, but I wanted to have you back again because I've made this statement many times over the last couple of days, and you can agree or disagree with me. But I think that the situation on our southern border right now is a tipping point for the future of our country. If we bend and break and let these thousands upon thousands of people come into our country, illegal aliens, with an attitude of get out of the way, American taxpayer, we're coming in and you can't do anything about it, this country, its values, and its Constitution are worthless.
Well, I think you're right. I think it is a serious crisis. They're trying to, pretend that they are there for asylum. But let me tell you, people who are coming to a country for asylum don't wave the flag of their home country, and they don't throw rocks at the country, at the citizens of the country they're coming to. They respect it, and they get online, and they fill in the form for asylum, and they do things politely and organized. This is a mob scene that was created by some left-wing groups and funded. It cost millions of dollars to bring all these people this far, and I think it's done for one purpose, to affect our elections, get a lot of people in who they think are going to sign up as Democrats because they don't understand our Constitution, they don't understand free enterprise, they don't understand the language even to even do things. And I think they're here because they think it's going to benefit them. And of course, there are lots of poor people all over the world. There's probably 6 billion of them around the world. We certainly can't take in 6 billion if they all come through the southern border throwing rocks.
Well, and last night on Tucker Carlson, there was a point made that I think needs to be discussed even further. The point being, whether it's Honduras or El Salvador, Guatemala, whatever, if all of these people are supposedly fleeing under the guise of trying to get asylum in the United States, and if the situation is so bad in all of those aforementioned countries, holy cow, what's to prevent each and every citizen of those countries to demand citizenship in this country?
Oh, absolutely. And they're acting like somehow they're entitled to it. I think they've been put up to it. I think they've been organized. I mean, does one morning they wake up in one of those foreign countries and say, oh, let's go to the United States and ask for asylum. I bet you they don't even know what asylum is until somebody's told them. what it means, and they think they're probably going to get a lot of free handouts, free benefits, and everything's going to be free. Some of them may be told they can get jobs that are better than where they are. But let's face it, you can't have, now it looks like maybe 10,000 people wake up one day and say, we're going to the U.S. I mean, people just don't do that. That has to be organized and planned, and I think it's done for political purposes.
Well, Dr. Lamero, you said something a moment ago that really piqued my interest. You said these people think they're going to get all the freebies. I'm making a synopsis of what you said. However, that's really true. Once they get in U.S. soil, and whether they're traveling alone or with other parties that they say are part of their family, we're basically on the hook as taxpayers to make sure that they're taken care of. And I, for one, have had enough.
Yeah, well, studies have been done by legitimate researchers. There are a lot of people who study this, and one study said that the average illegal immigrant who crosses the border and stays in the U.S. costs us $70,000, the taxpayers, $70,000 a year. Some may cost a little more, some a little less, but let's face it, they're getting more or less all the benefits of a United States citizen, be it medical care they need or anything else. And there are a lot of different things, and I've looked at some of the studies, and, if you add up those 70,000 per person, gosh, it gets the big number in the billions.
One of the things and items that I'm really bitter about, and I mean, some of the language that I used last night watching television is not appropriate for my show here this morning, but the misconception of how and who can apply for asylum. I am sick and tired of the misuse of that word and what it means. Over 90% of these illegal aliens, according to Homeland Security, Nielsen said 90% cannot qualify for asylum. I'd like you to address that.
No, absolutely not. There are a lot of reasons. Actually, one obvious reason is that when you're in a country that is truly persecuting you, like say they don't like your religion and they're going to, torture you or something, you're morally obligated to protect yourself, so you might cross the border into, say, Mexico. Well, you're only allowed to claim asylum in the first country after you've left the country of persecution. So to begin with, to say, we're going to go to the U.S. and we're going to go through Mexico, go through thousands of miles of walking, that makes no sense whatsoever legally. They should claim asylum as soon as they hit the first country, whatever that is. The first country is Mexico, that's where they should claim it. They have no right legally once they get here when they've already been through another country and didn't claim asylum.
I said it in jest yesterday, but the point was serious on my program when I said from Washington all the way across the northern border of the United States to Maine, what we ought to do is stage a protest and storm the border of Canada and see how far that would get us. What are your thoughts?
Well, that might be good for, TV showmanship and that, but I really don't think that's going to solve any problems.
That's right.
It's going to point out the hypocrisy in the left and that. So I'd recommend we just be tough on our southern border. And I think we have a president who is tough as nails. He said today he's willing to shut down the government to get the funding to finish the wall because he figures if he doesn't get it now in December coming up, either November or December, then he's not going to get it from Nancy Pelosi and all those Democrats that are taking over for 2 years. And by the way, I don't think they'll be there past 2 years.
Let me ask you about this. And again, I don't want you to think that I'm promoting this idea, but I'm asking you this question and then we'll take a call. What would be so devastatingly wrong if he did shut down the government? I'm not so sure it would be the end of the world like a lot of people think it would be.
Oh, no, because they keep all the, important services like national defense running. They keep most of the government running. They shut down a few things, maybe a few monuments, so you can't go and take a tour in Washington that week or something. It's happened before. Nobody's ever really been hurt by it. People get their money, they get their pay later. It's more of kind of just a political PR move, one way or the other, to say, well, I think this topic is so serious, I'm willing to shut down the government. That's what he's saying. But it's really not going to hurt anybody. It's not going to hurt the nation. And after they resolve the issue, everything goes back to normal. And if somebody, some government official got 2 weeks of extra vacation, he probably doesn't care.
I agree with you 1,000%. We have a caller with a question and a comment. Go ahead, caller. Quickly, you're on the air. Thank you.
Yes, Doctor, you wrote the book about good news for America, whatever the name of it is, not right?
Great news for America.
Yeah, okay, so when we had 45 gutless Republicans retire from the House, and that's what caused us to lose the House, you see, for various reasons, they were more worried about getting reelected and how they appeared than what was right for the country. And, good riddance to them, because, every day I'm out here doing the best I can do, and some days it takes courage because, you have anxiety of the unknown. And the unknown being, will Trump be reelected? Will we take back the House in 2020? And will Trump be reelected? And I'll hang up.
Respond to the caller, if you would, please, Dr. Lamero.
From the very nice gentleman there, is I think Trump right now is on a landslide path for 2020. I think he's going to win big. And as far as the House goes, I think what we're seeing is the House, the swamp getting drained, because there are a whole bunch. He mentioned the people who retired and resigned. There were 42 of them. 28 retired, 14 resigned, 42 decided they weren't coming back. Well, all I can tell you is the people who took their places, believe it or not, 86% of them were pro-Trump policies, pro-conservative. So you had a bunch of liberals decide to stay home, and the ones who did win were pro-Trump. Now, unfortunately, there's some Democrats who took over, and part of the place where they took over were incumbents who were liberal Republicans, who wouldn't leave and wouldn't have the decency to retire or resign. And you know what? 24 of those incumbents who decided to stay and fight to keep their liberal Republican seats lost. So there's 24 of them out the door.
We have another call with a...
But the House just got rid of a whole bunch of liberal, rhino, Republican and name-only Republicans. That clears the deck. They wouldn't leave, so the voters voted them out. And now in 2020, I predict the House is going to flip back to being Republican, and this time it's going to be conservative Republican for a change.
God, that would be a God's blessings. We have another caller with a question for you. Go ahead, caller, quickly, please.
Yes, good morning, Doctor. Do you feel that this country will soon be divided into many different countries?
Not at all. No, the American people don't want it. It's true there's a couple of cities on East Coast, West Coast, and maybe Chicago in between that love their socialism, and they can vote for their socialism, and they can have drug needles on the ground, and they can have all the bad stuff they have, but eventually they're going to get voted out because people are going to get sick of the situation they've created. For example, like in California and New York, they've created a really terrible situation for typical voters, and I think they're going to lose it. But they've got to have conservatives to run, because the American people are not going to vote for Republicans who say, hey, I'm conservative, and then when they get to Washington, they act like they're liberal Democrats. They're not going to put up with that anymore. You're either with us or you're not. You're either a conservative or they're not going to vote for them.
Absolutely.
I think by 2020, we are going to have cleaned out the House of Representatives, and the people who took over, I think they're going to lose. And I don't think this country is going to be hurt in the least. It's not going to break up into a lot of countries.
Let me ask you this question, Dr. Lamero, in accordance with what the caller had just said. Every day I have to work with this. Every day I get up early at 4 a.m. and start calling back to news agencies in Washington, D.C. and New York City. And I am appalled at the rate of socialism growing in popularity with the Democratic Party. As a matter of fact, I'm going to stop calling them Democrats and start calling all of them socialists, with the Ocasio-Cortezes, the Beto O'Rourke's, and others. How afraid are you, with a dumbed-down society and a lack of real education in our schools, that socialism is going to keep growing in this country?
Well, I think there's a real push by people who believe, like you and I, that we need to change the schools. I think there's what I put in the book, More Great News for America, a conservative enlightenment, meaning they realize they can't sit back and let the socialists run all the schools, and they can't have them sit back and run other major things. And so I think there's something going on to change that. But the biggest thing we have to be concerned about is not the American people being misled, because they're smart. They'll catch on, and some of them have already caught on. What we have to watch is voter theft. We may have lost 8 seats because of voter theft in the House or the Senate this time around. We have got to tighten the restrictions on the ballots, protect our ballots, make sure the people who are allowed to vote, vote, and the people who can't vote, don't vote. And I think that's the biggest number one problem we're facing today to accomplish what we want to accomplish, which is bring America back to its conservative constitutional roots, and that's what the American people really want. But they've got a bunch of these socialists out there trying to do other things.
I've been an advocate that there needs to be, flat out, no excuses, a national voter ID program. And I've also been very much of an advocate for, if we only have a certain time at the polls to vote, then in turn the polls only have a certain time afterwards to count the ballots. What are your thoughts?
I am 100% on board with you. I agree with you totally. We have to do it. We've got to protect our votes. You know, over 100 countries around the world have elections, and they require voter ID. And we don't. Why don't we? Because the Democrats have put a roadblock into it, trying to say we're biased against minorities. We're not biased against minorities. We give them driver's licenses. We give everybody driver's license. We're not against any one group. And, you know, you need a license or a photo ID to get on an airplane. You go to an airport and you want to fly across the country, you better have some ID on you. You can't just get on. And we have to take care of the most precious right of an American, the right to vote and pick our leaders. We've got to protect that with voter ID. It's ridiculous that we don't do it. And we know example after example of people who have apparently gone past what they're allowed to do, you know, like voting for a relative who died 2 years ago and the ballot shows up and they try to vote it. We know about a lady in San Diego. She decided to be an independent this year because she was mad at some of the Republicans, and she made herself an independent and then asked for an absentee ballot. They sent her 6 ballots in San Diego.
Oh, my.
Can you imagine that? Because she was independent. They also sent her a letter from some Hollywood star who said, "We're really glad you decided to vote this year."
Oh, my
What
goodness.
is getting a Democrat letter from a Hollywood star? I mean, this is ridiculous.
Dr. Lamero.
We know there's funny shenanigans going on. We know about the ballots that showed up in the Fort Lauderdale airport.
Right.
I may have mentioned this to you last week, but it really surprised me when they opened up a rental car trunk and found a bunch of ballots in the Fort Lauderdale airport.
Oh,
Did
my.
somebody fly those in? Where'd they come from?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Caller, good morning. Quickly, I've only got about 3 minutes left. Go ahead.
Just a quick comment. If they can make it down to the welfare office to sign up for food stamps and all kinds of assistance, they can make it down to the voter ID, get a voter ID card.
Amen. Thank you, caller.
She is 100% correct. There's no reason why people can't fill in a simple form to get an ID. I mean, you know, it's just so easy. There's nothing hard these days. It's easy to take a photograph. You can stick the photograph on the voter ID, make it legal. This is utterly ridiculous. It's nothing to do with bias. It's everything to do with allowing for voter fraud.
Absolutely. Dr. Lamero, I'm going to wrap this up, but I want to ask you one final question, and it's reverting back to the beginning of our conversation. The border situation, we, the United States, the people, this administration, we were chastised by the left loons and the Democrats for the use of a small force of using tear gas. I personally think our Border Patrol people are put in jeopardy every day. What are they supposed to do without some semblance of force to keep the illegal aliens out of our country? In other words, what can they do to stop this invasion?
Well, they put up their you know, some border. They need to put up the rest of the border. But they need to do things like that because you just can't have people sneaking through, throwing rocks, etc. And by the way, they complained. The Democrats complained about, you know, the Border Patrol using tear gas. Well, let me tell you, during the Obama administration, he used tear gas, I think, 80 times.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody complained then. None of the Democrats were complaining then when he used it to protect the border somewhat. He let a lot of people through, but he also, you know, stopped it a couple of times, too. So I think what they did, tear gas, perfectly normal. And look at what those people did. You know, they put some mothers and with a couple of babies up front so they would, you know, make it a good photo opportunity. And then all these big husky guys who look like they're ready to join, you know, the army or something, they're behind the women and children. What cowards to send women and children up front to get the tear gas, and they stand behind throwing rocks.
Absolutely. Excellent conversation this morning with one of my dear friends on this program, Dr. Gerard Lamero, and the author of More Great News for America. Sir, I wish you a very Merry Christmas, and thank you for taking the time to be on my show.
Well, I love being on your show. You're a great American. And you know what? Our future is good because the American people are strong and they have common sense, and we're fortunate to have a tough president.
Thank you, sir. I'll be in touch and have you back shortly. Thank you so much.
Thank you, too.
All right, sir. I can't tell you how much I appreciate this man, and his books are excellent. I have a copy, autographed copy by him from More Great News for America, Dr. Gerard Lamero. Thank you very much. There's going to be a big sale this Saturday, and it's put on by the Bennett Boys Auction Service, the Vega Auction. It's at 11 o'clock this Saturday, December 1st, over in the Jerome area at 326 West, 100 North. From the center of Jerome, go west 3 miles, then north a mile, then west another half mile. Park in the field, look for the signs, you can't miss it. They're going to have trucks and Jeeps and trailers, and they're cleaning up. Everything goes, and everything sold as is, where it is. And then along with that, they're going to have shop equipment and tools. They're going to have a lot of miscellaneous items. All of this at the sale on Saturday, the Vega Auction over in the Jerome area, starting at 11 o'clock this coming Saturday morning, managed by the Bennett Boys Auction Service. No sale too big, no sale too small. The Bennett Boys, yep, they sell them all. We'll be back in about 3 minutes. Right now, we're going to send it back over to Wheels. Don't you go away.
And now, back back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Thank you. Our last half-hour segment for my program this morning, and I've had this next lady on the program a couple of times previous. She is the president and founder of the Patient Financial Navigator Foundation Incorporated, and she really knows her stuff about seniors and some of the pitfalls that might befall some of the senior citizens. We're going to be talking about scams, and I say good morning to Day Egaskitha. How are you?
I'm still trying to get her on, sir. For some reason, it wasn't trying to patch through, and then I tried calling again.
Well, just keep trying. Just keep trying, if you would, please. Keep calling that number, please. I guess he is. Hopefully we can get her on the air. She said she would be available, and hopefully Wheels can make that connection. I only have that one number, and Wheels, you want to repeat the number to me to make sure that I gave you the correct number?
Well, to be honest, sir, I have her ready on the phone.
Oh, okay, good. She's there and ready. We've already given her a great big 45-second build-up introduction. So once again, I'll say good morning, Day Egaskitha. How are you?
I am good. It's great to be with you again. Thanks for the invitation.
Well, you know, I learned a lot from you the last couple of times you've been on the air, and I think what we'll do this morning is have you give kind of another thumbnail sketch of the work you do and how you really can help the senior citizens in our area. Go ahead, and then we'll get more into the information for today.
Great. Well, we formed the Patient Financial Navigator Foundation in 2017, and it's an Idaho-based family foundation. And we're doing a great deal of community and employer and family outreach education. And the ones that we're spending a lot of time with our community boot camps is focusing on the senior population. And we talk a great deal about turning 65 and how to get ready if you're still working. And then we also are working with the employers and doing some further education to help them understand their insurance. So we do a great deal of this kind of outreach at no cost, of course. So, and then, of course, we're writing articles for the Times News called Healthcare Buzz, where we're trying to do education in different areas of things that do impact healthcare, or somebody's health, I should say, or their ability to be able to maneuver through some of the complexities of healthcare.
Day, you are, of course, so much younger than I am. What about the senior citizens today? Are they more informed than they were 10 years, 20 years ago? Are they more aware of what's out there and what lurks out there that might try to take their money?
You know, it's a difficult question to answer because 10 years ago, we certainly didn't have the access of information through the many avenues of social media. And so as a quote senior, and I'm not all that far behind you, by the way, Zeb, but our ability to be able to sift through all this information that comes at us through our emails, through our texting, through our phones, we have more exposure to information, which, of course, unfortunately has dramatically increased the number of potential scams that are coming at us. Whether you're a senior or a younger person, it's just that, unfortunately, maybe we get overwhelmed easily with so much coming at us. So 10 years ago, we probably didn't have that much. This year, you know, it's much more than, I've even seen. And that's why we've started covering this more extensively through our Healthcare Buzz articles.
You know, I myself, I'll bet you I get at least 2 or 3 different scams sent to me via email or on my phone a week. And our seniors, what would you tell seniors to watch out for? How do they know what is honest and how do they know what is misrepresented? How can they find out really what's legit?
Well, probably the best thing I have done personally, and I am like you, I get at least one a day, and I print them off now and I incorporate them into the articles because there are a couple things that are easy to catch. The first thing I always write about now is read the email return address. Some of these are like American Express at person CMG. Well, that's not an American Express valid email address. Or, AT&T at Sherbert.com. Well, So you know the AT&T address, that email address, look for those. I have many, many examples. You know, if you get an e-fax, they tell you that your credit card data is incorrect. So look, do you even have that? Now let's go to the next one. Do you even have American Express? Do you even have a cellular company? These are the ones we'll be writing about this week. And again, do you have it? Look at the email address is by far the number one advice. And this is me personally of all the ones I get. And then the second one is, do you have that service? Now, some of the times it gets a little difficult because they're saying things like, you have a package. Now, think about the holidays. Think about Amazon. Think about the delivery services. So now we're starting to get many of them that say, you have a package that needs delivered to your address. We don't have the correct address. Click here and update your address. Whoa, stop. Don't ever open attachments. Don't ever click where it says click here to look at something. Never do it. What you've done is open the pathway for you to now have somebody in your system. So number one, Zeb, read those email addresses. They are such an easy fix to catch that it's not valid. Number two, do you even have those services, like the cellular, like the credit cards? And then number three, never open an attachment. If you don't know who that person is, never click on it. Never click on the notice in the bottom of the notice that says, hey, click here to get the information. Never do it. Those are probably the first three things that you will, if you hold on to those three, I don't care how old you are, you will usually be safe from most scams through email, because that's how they tap in now. They've got access to everything in your system once you've let them in through that tool.
Well, Day, it's not just the emails. I mean, it's the phone calls. It's everything that come into our homes nowadays. There might be somebody calling, and they say they're from a bank, and they just wanted to verify your bank number because they're having some problems. Well, first of all, a bank's not going to have that problem that they can't verify your number. So the first thing you should do is not even talk to these people. Hang up the phone. There have been IRS scandals. There have been calls saying, oh, I'm your grandson and I need some money. Send it to me right away. I'm in jail. I mean, how does a person discern what's honest anymore today? It seems like everything is trying to get in our billfold.
Yeah, isn't that terrible? Because how many times have we, you know, when we're at our boot camps and we work with the Office on Aging and they do a little bit of an education for me, and I love it when she says, I know you've been taught your whole life to be kind and considerate and be gracious on the telephone. Hang up. You have to be rude and you need to hang up. And the bottom line is on the phone, if you don't know who that number is, don't even answer it. These are some of the tools we have to teach. Because the scammers have become easy to record us. Here's what they do. They call, is this De Agusquita? Yes, it is. Well, now they've recorded my voice saying, yes, it is. So then they'll say, do you have a bank account in Twin Falls, Idaho? Yes, I do. So when you answer the questions from a stranger, you are having your voice recorded with a response that could open up another avenue of fraud against you. So here's the golden rule on the phones. If you don't know who it is, don't answer. And we do have some of our own family who say, oh, I answer because it's just fun to kind of bait with them and stuff. They're recording your voice. So unless you want to have further credit cards opened in your name, loans done electronically with your name, the voice is being recorded. Don't answer the phone. It's so basic that it's like people think the phone rings, you have to answer it. And those of us that run businesses, you know, my business is out of my home, so I have a ton of business calls. My answering machine does a really nice job of screening calls that I don't know who they are. They can always call back, leave me a message. I can call them back if I want to talk to them or they're legitimate. So, Zeb, don't answer the phone if you don't know who it is.
Well,
that's your first safety net. Second of all, as you said, the IRS, this is one of the ones that we've been caught up in email and phone. Isn't this interesting? Personally, I got it both ways myself, so I can tell you this is happening. The IRS never does phone calls.
That's right.
They always send U.S. Post Office. They don't do emails. They don't do phone calls. So if you're, and that's a scary one. If the IRS is, you better, you owe us money, and we're all like, oh my Lord, I better do something. They don't call you. They don't email you. If you have an issue with the IRS, they use the U.S. Post Office.
That's right.
So we are told those things to try to keep us safe and try to keep us aware of how to protect ourselves.
Do you find that most seniors are aware of this, or when you put on your workshops, are you really absolutely taken aback because of the amount of seniors that aren't even aware of these scams or how to handle these scams?
I think I am surprised, but I'm also surprised at the people who have been so kind to know me a little bit, and they come up and they tell me about them. I'm getting phone calls from people who are reading the articles or have been at the boot camps who are now calling me and saying, now, we got this letter, we think it's a scam. It's scary, and people probably are unaware of how rampant it is. That's why the Federal Trade Commission, we always provide that information in all of our boot camps as well as the Healthcare Buzz articles, because when in doubt, contact the Federal Trade Commission.
Right.
When you want to report something, which we all should be, contact the Federal Trade. But I would tell you that they always just kind of sit there, and I think people are amazed at how some of this is so heartless. They hit at your heartstrings. Your grandchild's just been arrested, or your grandchild is stranded and needs money. I mean, they're hitting at your heartstrings too. So I am surprised, but I'm also pleased that people are talking about it now, and that's being on your show, which I appreciate, is another way for us to reach them. To say, be aware, use the safety nets, don't answer the phone if you don't know them, don't ever do a click on an attachment, report anything you think looks odd. Even if it sounds like they're the sweetest, kindest person, you're going to have to say, turn them in.
Absolutely.
And you need to feel confident doing that.
Absolutely. We have a caller with a question and a comment. Go ahead, caller, please. You're on the air. Thank you.
Yes, last week I received a call. They said they were with the Social Security Administration. The call come out of Florida, said that my Social Security payments are going to be attached. I need to call this number to get it taken care of. I called the Social Security Department in Twin, and they said they've been hearing about a lot of them going on. I'll hang up.
Okay, would you respond to the caller, please, Dave?
Yeah, wow, thanks for telling me about that one. I haven't had that one personally, and I haven't had it reported, so we will definitely put that in the Healthcare Buzz scam articles that are ongoing, as well as our education. But absolutely, isn't that terrifying? Your Social Security check that you live on is going to get garnished for some reason. That's another way to terrify our people who may or may not be sophisticated enough, as our caller was, to know how wrong that is. So I appreciate you sharing it. We have to talk to each other. We have to continue to get the word out to protect people. But absolutely, that is a scam, and I'm so sorry it's happening.
Dave, let me ask you this question on the other side of this issue. What is done legally, or what can be done legally, to stymie and stop some of these people if they are caught? Are the laws tough enough?
I honestly can't answer that, Zeb, because what we hear about are report the scams to the Federal Trade. Now, we have had a recent release by the Federal Trade Commission who brought charges against an auto dealer who sent out a recall scam just to get people into their dealership to get services they didn't need. So that dealer was prosecuted. So in that case, we have one that we know the dealer was prosecuted, but, that's one. And that one was interesting. Have you ever heard of a recall that wasn't a real recall, just to get you into their shop so they could do more services for you when the recall wasn't valid to begin with?
Oh, my.
They were prosecuted. You just don't hear about that many that anything happens with, because it's hard if they're not even in the United States, and we don't know where these things are being initiated from.
Do you find that the senior segment of our society is the main target by the scammers, or are there other segments they go after also?
It's a good question. I think, they're certainly going to go after the most vulnerable, who may be the least likely to fight back. And unfortunately, that may be our seniors. Certainly the younger seniors, the more educated in the world of social media seniors, are becoming better at and some of the education we're doing, I hope, as a country. But, the fact is, I personally have been getting these scams for about 5 years, heavily the last 2 years, and I'm not a senior yet. So I think sometimes it's just a matter of who they can reach. If you have a national presence, they can tap into your Facebook. They can tap into things about you. And because this is such a sophisticated system of scamming, I don't know if there's a age limit. I think it's more of a what might you be vulnerable for and how they know of you, which of course Facebook is an easy way to know about you. So I just think the seniors are probably more vulnerable, but it doesn't mean we're not protecting all ages.
All right, we've got another quick call. I've got about 3.5 minutes left in this segment. Caller, quickly, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, about a year ago I got a letter, and it had the IRS stamp on the top, and it was totally looking official. And they said in this letter that they did not have enough information to process my claim. And what was really funny was I hadn't even taken it to my person that does taxes, so I knew it was a scam.
All right, ma'am, we'll have her respond on the air. Go ahead, Dave.
The IRS only uses the post office, so now the scammers are trying it through the post office. And again, always call and ask, not them, of course, call the tax folks and ask them, the state tax commission, anybody who can help you with that, because, again, this shouldn't be, and we also have to protect ourselves.
I guess the bottom line is, and I hate to act this way, but you know as well as I do, Dave, that we have to be jaded against what's going on in the world today. If you don't know the telephone number, don't answer the phone. If you get something that requests information from you, throw it in the garbage or rip it up and burn it, but don't respond. I think that's a fair assessment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And one last note, Zeb, with these new Medicare numbers, we all have gotten our new Medicare numbers now, our new Medicare. Those are now getting lots of phone calls. So seniors, heads up. If somebody calls you and says, hey, we know you have your new number, but it's not being listed correctly in this, whatever it is, do not ever give that number out.
Okay.
That was the reason we have new numbers, is to protect us against scams. So never give your new Medicare number to anybody. As a healthcare provider, they will ask for it at your point of registration. You don't give it over the phone. You certainly don't give it any other way.
Absolutely. I've got one more call I'm going to take, and I've only got a minute and a half left. Go ahead, caller, please. You're on the air. Quickly.
Well, it's such a terrible shame. Our society is so broke down that dishonesty, scams, thievery is so common that you say to yourself, our kids don't seem to know any better. They live in an environment that is totally breaking down, and they're jaded, they're numb, they don't care. And you say, well, how does it ever get better? And you say, I don't know. And does it just progressively get worse? And we end up in ashes? I don't know. I'll hang up.
Respond to the caller quickly, if you would, Dave. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's disheartening. I agree with you, but I also am very empowered. I feel empowered. My grandkids feel empowered. My children feel empowered, and that's because we're teaching them that.
Right.
We got to teach that. And so I do empower them. Fight back. This is wrong. You have to report it. Report it. Don't get complacent. Report it, and let's see if we can at least apply a little bit of pressure and keep some of the things from us being susceptible. We've got to be strong and fight back in the way of information and report it and be smart.
I really appreciate your taking the time to come on my program, and please know I'm going to be calling you in the future to come back. Wonderful lady, Day Egeskitha, and she's the president and founder of Patient Financial Navigator Foundation Incorporated. God bless you, and Merry Christmas. Thanks for being on the program.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and thanks to everybody. Blessing to you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Holy smokes, I've got to get to the weather forecast, and the weather brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The telephone number to call, 324-7657, or you can go to their website, www.scarrowsmeats.com. All the delicious meats, the tri-tips, and the marinated pork ribs, and all the bacons, and the bratwurst. I love bratwurst. You're going to love all the meats from Scarrows Meats over in Jerome. We'll have more right after this weather forecast by Gina.
definitely feels like winter is settling into the valley. Here's a look at your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are expecting a slight chance of snow showers, maybe rain showers for today, about a 20% chance, mostly cloudy skies, expecting a high of 43. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low of 30. Tomorrow, we do have a chance of snow showers in the morning. That's going to give way to rain showers by tomorrow afternoon, mostly cloudy skies, expecting a high of 44. That's going to continue for tomorrow night. Accumulations of less than 1 inch possible, more snow up in the higher elevations, though. Expecting a low of 30. By Friday, 50% chance of snow showers in the forecast. High of 36. Mostly cloudy for Friday night, low of 20. And Saturday, still a 20% chance of snow showers in the mid-morning. Mostly cloudy skies, high of 36. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina, and brought to you by Don Scarrow and the crew at Scarrow's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Oh, yes, they are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Delicious. Oh, my. Let's see. Quickly, our major sponsor of our program. I'm running a little bit behind here. I want to say a big shout-out and thank you to all 7 Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Absolutely. They say be ready for anything on the roadways, the sleet, the hail, the snow, the ice, the mush, everything. And they've got all the tires, all the tread designs to help you drive safely. Don't forget all the sizes for your car, pickup, and SUV right there at all 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. The best in brake service, the best in front-end alignment, shocks and struts, and as the temperatures go lower, the best in batteries, too. Check it out today. Stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley. Absolutely the best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Whew! We made it through to the end of the program, and tomorrow, I want to remind you, is Lunch Bunch. Tomorrow is Lunch Bunch at Denny's, America's Diner, at 11:30. We'll be hustling out of here a few minutes early to make it down to Lunch Bunch, and our thanks again go to our gift certificate sponsors, Walmart, Smith's Foods, Hanson Mortuary, Stokes Groceries, Doug Martin, Denny's, all of those great people. Lunch Bunch tomorrow at Denny's Restaurant in Burley, 611 North Overland at 11:30. Don't miss it. That's it for today. I'm going to wrap it up and put it back, and we'll saddle the horse tomorrow morning at 8:06. And we've got a lot of great guests coming on, all kinds of interesting segments. Zeb at the Ranch, where we always say the way things were, the way things ought to be, and the world needs more cowboys. See you tomorrow morning.